government-imposed digital ID.
There's a coordinated global policy push for digital IDs. One of the main reasons for this coordinated global push to develop digital IDs is because it's deemed essential to the entire Sustainable Development Agenda. It's also known as Agenda 2030.
Stay informed. Follow Freedom Research on X for exclusive investigations.
Europe's digital transformation by 2030.
Governments, banks, and tech companies around the world envision a future where every person has a digital ID, living in a society where everything is digitized, monitored, and managed.
We want to offer to Europeans a new digital identity.
They're basically proposing to have a bunch of your information in one place connected to a digital identity. It's about building the infrastructure of control so that then you can control people's behavior.
In which you will have to have a digital ID to live your life. So the right to work, then the right to rent, banking, education, childcare, voting.
Money could soon evolve into a global central bank digital currency, eliminating cash and allowing every transaction to be tracked by governments, banks, and tax authorities. Your digital wallet would be linked to your ID card. The president of the European Central Bank says the euro is moving toward a digital currency.
And we work very hard on making sure that we have a digital euro so that we have a European solution. So why not our currency as well?
Well, once you have the digital money system, then there's all sorts of services and applications that can be built on top of that.
Yeah. People are pushing in a very obvious and very specific direction. They want digital currency, centralized digital currency that they control, and they want to get everybody on a social credit score system. They'll probably connect it to some sort of a vaccine app. Or if you want to travel around, all they would need is another pandemic to try to push that shit through.
Digital ID is the end of democracy as we know it, and an irreversible step into a dystopian future.
This new digital identity wallet will be used with a new kind of digital money. Unlike Bitcoin, which is decentralized and not controlled by anyone, this digital money, called a CBDC, central bank digital currency, is created and managed directly by central banks.
A central bank would directly issue a CBDC, and then that's the currency that the people would be using in wallets that are managed by the central bank. Prominent central bankers have been going on about the need to create a new financial system and a new financial governance system.
A digital euro, for example, will make it easier for companies and consumers alike.
Banks already maintain massive data points, determining your access to loans and mortgages. With digital currency and a world without cash, banks gain real-time visibility into every payment, every person, company, and the entire economy. Fueled by AI, this vast stream of data gives them a new kind of superpower. And surely it's hard to imagine that the West would turn this system into a Big Brother-style digital prison like China's, right? Western democracies have far stronger legal safeguards, privacy laws, and oversight than China's surveillance state. But every crisis gives governments new reasons to expand control.
Spreading from Wuhan, China, and tonight that first case here in the U.S.
The pandemic accelerated the rollout of vaccination cards in the West.
Give Europeans back the freedoms they value and cherish so much. This certificate is a symbol of an open and digital Europe. The European Union certificate is a prime example of digital tools that represent our values.
A growing number of European countries are imposing restrictions on people who have not been vaccinated.
Without a vaccine certificate, people often couldn't work, attend university, or enter gyms and restaurants.
Access to trains, domestic flights, and restaurants and bars will only be allowed for the fully vaccinated, recently recovered.
I have the app on my phone. I show that I've been vaccinated. Buongiorno.
If you didn't have a card to present, entry was denied. They were effectively locked out of aspects of daily life. Millions were excluded from social or professional activities, and many even lost their jobs for lacking a certificate.
Demonstrators in France, Italy, and Australia took to the streets this weekend, protesting against vaccination passes and new lockdown measures.
A new coronavirus contact tracing app in an effort to track the spread of COVID-19 across the country.
When COVID was happening, there was this push for vaccine passports, and a lot of the people that were pushing or creating the vaccine passports were part of this, either ID 2020, or they were part of related entities pushing for digital ID.
In many countries, digital systems were used to track COVID-19 cases and vaccination status, and in some cases to monitor general compliance with lockdown measures through mobility or contact tracing data.
We have algorithms that automatically recognize certain behaviors. If someone isn't wearing a mask, for example, we immediately detect this wrongdoing.
National Police Service sending to banks the names of people involved in protests.
In Canada, peaceful citizens who protested outdoors against pandemic measures had some of their bank accounts frozen, a striking parallel to China.
I mean, you think about the political risks of freezing accounts. This is a very tricky area.
These cases suggest that, under certain circumstances, the West has the capacity to deploy such systems against segments of the population. In the name of the greater good, whether during a pandemic, a terrorist attack, or efforts to reduce crime or environmental impact, tracking people's behavior, movements, or even thoughts might be considered reasonable.
But just think back to what happened to during the pandemic. A lockdown happens. You're meant to go for one walk a day. This is giving out to the government data and movement and whatever else, which is deeply, deeply worrying.
As you say, during the pandemic, if you've been identified as a 2-walk-a-day person, or maybe you chose not to get vaccinated, well, then you are denied access to X, Y, Z. I do not want to give that power to a government that has consistently proven not only untrustworthy, but authoritarian.
The groundwork for digital ID systems was established well before COVID-19. Among the most influential initiatives was one launched in 2016, called ID 2020. Its founding partners included Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, the Rockefeller Foundation, and others. The World Economic Forum has been very open about its vision of humanity as a digital society.
Our future competitiveness depends on AI adoption.
Europe is one step closer to bringing in its insidious digital ID.
Enter the EU Digital Identity Wallet that enables you to identify yourself to public and private services.
In the name of saving the planet, proposals have been discussed about tracking each person's digital footprint, monitoring factors such as travel, fuel usage, and even consumer habits like clothing purchases. It really comes across as if the West is quietly building its own version of a dystopian system. Europe is set to collect biometric data, making airports permanent biometric checkpoints.
Travel into the European Union is about to get stricter as a new digital system is rolled out this October. We'll have their fingerprints and their faces scanned.
You are going to need to register your details. Photo successful. How marvellous.
Both in China and in European countries, AI-powered surveillance cameras track faces, gestures, and movements everywhere.
The growth of facial recognition and what it's capable of brings with it a host of privacy and civil liberties issues.
Even the car you drive is constantly logged in a giant database.
So at the same time as a facial biometric digital ID is being made mandatory for every single person in the country, Cameras are being introduced that scan your facial biometric.
Because what we're effectively talking about here is a Chinese social credit score, isn't it?
Whether it falls into a full-blown Chinese-style social kind of credit system, who knows? But it feels less laughable today, doesn't it, than it probably did, 5 years ago.
Are we already living in a world where our privacy is so compromised that this really doesn't add a great deal to it?
Every day, more and more of your life is digitalized and centralized into huge databases.
By 2030, all EU citizens should have access to electronic health records.
Many countries already have digital ID systems, and these are gradually evolving into more centralized frameworks for managing health, taxes, and travel. There is no denying that these digital ID systems can be extremely convenient. No long lines, paperwork, or bureaucracy. You can file your taxes, schedule doctor appointments, and store all your documents in a single, fast, and easy-to-use digital system.
And to interact with governments and businesses across the European Union.
In the future, your digital ID could serve as the key to accessing the internet. At least, that's increasingly being discussed.
An identity that ensures trust and protects users online.
Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez has called for an end to online anonymity.
And force all these platforms to link every user account to an European digital identity wallet.
What's Sanchez's proposal? To link all social media accounts to a European digital identity wallet.
We are that close to a situation where you basically need a digital ID to go online. For example, your online activity will be linked to a digital ID, or certainly there will be people calling for that.
And Europe is already planning to gain access to scan people's messages.
The EU's plan to scan private messages and flag to the police any content suspected of being child sexual abuse.
The big problem here from privacy activists is that everyday users are going to be exposed to a whole new vulnerability, which is the breaking of their end-to-end encryption services.
These programs, mass surveillance, is not about public safety. It is not about terrorism. It is about power. It is about economic espionage, it is about diplomatic manipulation, and it is about social influence.
In the UK, internet authorities constantly monitor online discourse and can arrest individuals based on their posts.
She's basically viewed a post, which is not an arrestable offence.
The only thing is we need to seize the phone at this current moment. Your daughter will get arrested.
For what? Viewing a social media post? Is that
I need to go with her in order to...
No, absolutely not.
What can we do to prevent what's happening?
I would like you to leave now. I would like you to leave.
This is why you're...
Okay, I have nothing more to say to you.
More and more people are taking a stand against this digitalization of humans. Almost 3 million people in the UK have signed a petition opposing this digital ID system.
Join the fight to defend our freedoms. Follow Freedom Research on X.